So today, we're going to explore a really different way of seeing the world. This is all inspired by a piece called Udaipur, where the water remembers. And just so you know, this isn't your typical travel guide. Think of it more as a guide to, well, a guide to paying attention.
This one line, it basically sets up everything we're about to talk about. It suggests this really powerful shift in how we approach things. What if the whole point of going somewhere isn't to get something from it, but just to, be with it?
You know how most of us travel? We show up with a checklist, right? A list of things to see, things to do, photos to capture. But this piece we're looking at proposes something totally different, a practice of attention. It's all about slowing down and learning how to be truly, genuinely present.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's dig into this idea of arriving with breath and maybe explore why our usual way of making plans might actually be getting in the way.
I mean, think about it. We get somewhere new, and what's the first thing we do? We pull out our phones, our cameras, we start asking questions. What's the story here? How old is this? We're basically trying to extract information, collect experiences like they're souvenirs. It's a really active, almost demanding way of seeing things.
And here's the big pivot. The idea here is that a place isn't just some stage set up for our entertainment. It's alive, it has its own rhythm. And maybe, just maybe, it doesn't want our applause or our frantic photo-taking. Maybe all it wants is for us to just show up, to be present. It's asking for our attendance.
Which, of course, brings us to the solution offered here, this whole practice of attention, which we can find in the quiet moments.
So what is this practice of attention, really? Well, it's a huge shift in mindset. You're going from demanding to listening, from collecting things to see to just observing. The whole point isn't to conquer a place with a packed itinerary, but to create enough space and enough quiet for the place to kind of reveal itself to you.
And this is such a brilliant way to explain it. The travelers in the story, they walk into this palace, and they get this feeling that the building isn't, shouting at them, screaming for their attention.
Instead, it offered them permission to notice. That's such a subtle but huge difference, isn't it? It completely changes the dynamic. It's not about a tourist's duty to see something. It's about an observer's opportunity. You're not there to check a box. You're there to receive whatever is being quietly offered.
This brings us to a really cool idea. How does this practice actually help us see the way places hold on to their own memories? We tend to think history is stored in the big stuff, the grand monuments, the official plaques. But this source argues that the real memory, the actual lived-in history of a place, is found in the buildup of all these tiny, everyday actions.
And this is how real that idea gets. Memory isn't some abstract thing. It's right there. It's in the crescent shape worn into a wooden stool from someone sitting in the exact same spot day after day for years. It's in the banister polished to a shine not by a machine, but by thousands and thousands of human hands passing over it. This is the real archive of ordinary life. And this is the kind of reverence it teaches. It's not a loud, dramatic awe for some priceless artifact. It's a quiet respect for an object that was used and fixed and remembered. Its value comes from its life, not from being put up on a pedestal.
Okay, so this takes us even deeper. If a place holds its memory in all these little details, how do we actually learn to read them? How do we learn to speak the language of a place?
The text suggests we think of it like a grammar, but it's not a language of words. It's a language written in the silent patterns of life. The pauses in a conversation, the feel of a repaired piece of fabric, the daily rhythm of a shopkeeper opening up for the day.
So how do we learn this grammar? Well, here are a few things to try. Instead of pushing for answers, try listening to the silences. Notice the small, repeated acts of care, like a floor being swept or a lamp being lit, and see them as a kind of sentence structure. Let yourself overhear stories that aren't meant for you. And try to feel the quiet pulse of a building, its own unique breath.
And that's the payoff, right there. You can't just demand insight from a place. The stories are there, for sure, but they only come back to you when you've learned how to be quiet enough to hear them. It's like your patience is the price of admission.
So, after all this listening and all this noticing, what's the end result? What do you actually get out of traveling this way? What's the transformation?
Well, what's so surprising is that it's not really about collecting more information. You might not leave with any more dates or names or historical facts than the next person.
But you leave with something so much deeper.
You leave with an improved ability to just be with whatever is right in front of you, to witness something without needing to own it or even fully understand it. You become steadier in your capacity to hold what came near.
This means the real souvenir isn't something you can buy in a gift shop. The real souvenir is a skill you've built inside yourself. You carry home a new tool, a completely different way of paying attention to the world.
And this is the best part. This tool isn't just for vacation. It's a tool for life. It's your own private way to return to a state of presence, a way to find a little bit of calm whenever the modern world is just screaming at you to hurry, hurry, hurry.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about. What might we discover about the places we go, and maybe even about ourselves, if we stopped asking them to perform for us, and instead just showed up with our breath? Thanks for listening.